Hello everyone, welcome to our Palworld Survival Guide. So if you are starting to set up the production in your base, it's really easy to just get so overwhelmed with everything and then just like assign pals willy nilly and not like look too deep into what they're doing. And that might be a mistake. You might not be getting as much out of your pals and as much productivity in particular as you might be, especially if you have some of the same pals. There might be some who have better skills than others, even though they're the same pal. So today we're going to be talking about the best and worst skills for workers, basically. And that includes workers at your base, but also workers that you might have with you in your party. So let's kind of go over that. We're just going to use all the pals that I have here in the pal box just because there's a list of different skills that I can just kind of point out. So one of the best skills to have with you in your party is the logging foreman. If we kind of hover over this, the logging foreman skill gives us 25% increase to player logging efficiency. So what does this mean? This means that if I was going to have this Fox Sparks in my party, anytime I went out and I did some logging, I was going to go cut down some trees, I would basically get more. And that's just because I have this pal with this particular skill in my party. So that's great for me. That's great, I feel like, for beginners. If you find that you don't have your logging site up, you're still collecting wood yourself, or maybe you just like to collect the wood yourself, that's totally fine. That's your thing. I would recommend trying to find some sort of pal that has that logging foreman skill in your party, because that's just going to make that process a lot easier. So logging foreman, we love it. That's great. Now there's another one called the motivational leader skill, which is this guy, and that gives us a 25% increase to player work speed. So once more, this is another one that I would say have in your party when you're doing stuff. That might be, again, like you might be out there mining, you might be logging, you might be maybe even building something, like you're just like putting something together. Whatever it is that you're doing, some sort of work, having that guy in your party is going to make it go a little bit faster, which means you're going to be way more productive. So the motivational leader, I feel like, is a great skill to have for a pal. And then, you don't necessarily need to have it in your party all the time, but if you know that you're going to be doing some work, just quick throw them in your party and just make yourself more efficient, in my opinion anyway. Now, there's another one that's pretty gosh darn good, although the name is very unfortunate, and that is the work slave. So with the work slave, you're looking at a plus 30% work speed, which is amazing. Now, the downside of that is that they do have like a minus 30% to their attack. So they're really fast at working, but they're not great. They're not going to help you defend your base that well. So that's kind of something to keep in mind, that you might need to balance your base here with work slaves or other highly work skilled pals, with pals who can actually fight and defend your base. So that's great for you're working. So like this guy here, he could, if he was out, he'd be doing whatever he'd be doing, farming, I guess, 30% faster than somebody who doesn't have like the work slave skill or doesn't have like any kind of work skill. So that's awesome. So if you can find some work slaves, as their name might suggest, they're really good for working at your base. Now the last skill that I pretend to kind of like look for when I'm trying to bring out pals to work at the base is the lucky. And luckies are lucky pals, basically. They're out there that you can kind of hear them when they like shimmer out in the wild, and then you have a chance to catch them. And they tend to be like a little bit bigger than the normal version of the pal. So like this tansy, for example, is bigger than a normal tansy. But the lucky skill here is amazing because it gives you a plus 15% work speed and also a plus 15% to your attack. So he's not only good at defending the base, but he's also going to be working a lot faster. And I love having it on the tansy because the tansy has like, it's all level 1, but he's doing so much. So he's like doing a lot of work everywhere. He's a hard worker, this one. So I absolutely love that I was able to find like a lucky tansy. Now the other thing with the luck skill is that I've found, and I might be wrong on this, but it happened with one of our me and my partner's breeding little babies. They actually acquired the lucky skill despite neither of the parents being lucky pals themselves. So if you're lucky, you might get a breeded pal that comes out with this skill, which is awesome if it does. Put it to work immediately if you can. So that's great. We love luckies. They are amazing. Now, those are the best skills for your workers to have, both like in your party, but also at your base. Now, there are some skills that are not the greatest to have on your pals that are working. And unfortunately, I have some here. I need to switch them out, to be honest, or find some new ones. But the first one is Musclehead, which is our friend Larry here. Now, for the Musclehead, the attack is great. Like, it's a plus 50%, but its work speed is minus 50%. Half. That's crazy. So this guy, he is not efficient at all. I really got to switch him out, to be honest. But his attack's great, which is awesome. So, like, if you want to, I would say if you're going to use, like, a muscle head, maybe use it in, like, a defensive station or something on your base. Don't have it actually working, though, because it's just not going to be worth the time, to be honest. So watch out for the muscle heads. Another one is Slacker, which is our pen gullet here, Patricia. Slacker, you're looking at a minus 30% work speed. That's also pretty gosh darn painful. So this lady here, she's not very efficient at all with doing her work. I would when I can. Oh, I'm gonna have. Oh no, not the fangirls. When I can, I'm going to be switching him out for somebody else just because it does not make sense for me to have him out here when he's doing like a third less than what everybody else is doing. And the last one, since we got a little bit of time, where's our last one? Who was it that was? There you are. Clumsy. We're looking at minus 10% work speed on a Clumsy pal. Now, that's not as bad. It's something like the least of the worst, if you will. Go do your thing. And, amazing. And so they're not like the worst with only like the minus 10, but it's still not necessarily something that I want, especially if there's another pal of like the same type or something that's doing, you know, more work. So I've got to do some cleanup myself on some of these workers. But yeah, so yeah, anyway, that's about it for like work skills. And I'm really curious to know what kind of skills you guys prefer to have your pals have in terms of like work and production. Not the pals themselves, obviously, as there are better pals out there who have like higher levels. But we're just looking at skills for this particular video. So yeah, or guide, whatever you want to call it. So if you guys have like another skill that I didn't list here that's either really good or really bad, let me know in the comments. I'd love to, you know what you guys are thinking about that too. But until next time, thanks so much for watching. Keep surviving and keep thriving.